welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. It's so good to have you here with me on the show this evening, especially as we have a lovely guest. Yes, joining me is TV personality, singer and actress Zoe Birkett. And here is what happened when I caught up with her. Zoe, it's great to have you on the show. How are you?
Hello! I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm really good. It's lovely to have you here. How's lockdown been for you? What have you been up to?
Oh, I feel like, what haven't I been up to be honest, in the past year? It's been just absolutely crazy. I mean, this lockdown, which has only been a week so far, has been just pure schoolwork. I've got a toddler, so everything we have done has just been lots of homework from school, lots of phonics, lots of writing. And last year, during the lockdown, during the second lockdown, I actually wrote a children's book, so I've been doing lots of distributions for the children's book over the last week as well. But I mean, generally, I've just tried to stay creative as much as possible. I've redecorated my whole house. It's been crazy.
6-minute makeover, like it.
Yeah, every room took like a lick of paint or something. I've even built a gym in our garage.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, built a home gym. So there's been lots.
Yeah.
In a period where normally it's would have been very, very quiet and took some time to relax, it's been strangely busy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to just keep creative, haven't you, and keep making things happen.
You have to.
So, yeah.
You have to, especially, in our job, we're used to chatting every day, talking to people. I'm used to being on stage, and then to just have, a complete shutdown of our industry has just been so crazy. But, like you, everything moves online, and we have to just learn new skills and get creative with this whole online business.
Yes, we are. We're technical geniuses now, Zoe. We're good. We're good at this. Now, your first song that you've chosen for us today, Run the World, Beyonce. What a song to kick off with. Why this song?
I just love her. I've been obsessed with Beyonce since her early Destiny's Child days. I grew up listening to all of her music. I think she's an incredible woman. She empowers so many different people, not just females as well, men as well, love her. And the Run the World song, when it first was released, I just feel like where I was in my life, I needed it. And I was like, yes, I am fierce. I am Superwoman. And it's crazy because now I've got a 3-year-old. She listens to it and we do the dance in the living room. Who run the world, girls? So she's just got such a great versatility to her music that any generation can listen to it. So for me, this song for female empowerment, making yourself feel good. Before I go on stage, I'll pop this on and then I'm like, right, I'm ready.
Yeah, well, I think we need this every day in lockdown. So here it is.
Absolutely.
Beyonce, Run the World. Enjoy.
Yes!
Now, Zoe, let's rewind because we're going to talk about sort of the pop idol days in a little bit. But how did it all first start for you? Is it right that you used to be, like me, a disco dancer?
Absolutely. Were you a disco dancer?
Yeah, you used to do competitions every Sunday.
5, 6, 7, and 8, and spin, split. Yeah, I was there. I mean, I've been dancing for all my life since I was 3. So I've done originally acro, gymnastics, jazz, like hip hop commercial stuff. And disco, I just loved it. I used to do it every single weekend. I used to compete at Primrose Valley all the time. And I became under 16 Northeast champion for like 3 or 4 years in the row. And I loved it. Did we not compete against each other ever?
I was going to say, I'm a bit older than you, Zoe.
I don't believe
Showing
that.
my age now, showing my age. But I had all the costumes. My mum's still got photo albums of me with all my disco dancing costumes, with all the sequins, with all the feathers. And she likes to embarrass me with those now and again.
I mean, the poor parents, because they were not cheap, them disco dancing outfits.
No.
They were a fortune. But I loved it. Disco dancing was just great discipline, and any form of dance, I guess, is great discipline. You're like a sports person, an athlete. You're training your body and just having to be physically fit and healthily and mentally fit as well. And I just fell in love with dancing so much. And I'll be honest, at the beginning of my career, I always wanted to be a dancer. That was the intention. I wanted to dance for Britney Spears, believe it or not. That was my dream in life, was to be a backing dancer for Britney.
Like it.
Yeah, and then unfortunately I had a huge hip operation, a hip accident, when my hip came out the socket and I had 3 pins put in my left hip. So that kind of catapulted that out the window. However, it then just opened up this incredible world. And apparently I'm a better singer than dancer, which has been great. But I had to, just think about going down a different avenue. I'd always loved singing and acting and doing drama at stage school and stuff. And then it turns out I'm a better singer anyway, which has kind of worked out in the end. But at the time as a child, I was devastated.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But, I did all private singing lessons. I went to Angela Weber School. I did so many auditions, and I sung for royalty. I sung for Tony Blair's son's christening, Leo, for his the baby's christening when he was Prime Minister. So there was so many things pre-Pop Idol that I was doing as a singer. And, for the last, goodness me, 25 years, I've been a professional singer, which has just been amazing for me. So some things always work out. I always think things happen for a reason. I have these chats with lots of graduates at the moment who are obviously going through, they're at stage school and they're going through this time of graduating from college, and you're meant to be out there in the world performing and doing auditions and getting your first job. And obviously with COVID, everything's at a standstill, but I keep having to, try to encourage the next generation of performers just not to give up. It's a blip in our industry at the moment, but we will come back stronger, and everything happens for a reason. So to try and keep the faith.
Yeah, and I really like your attitude, because I think a lot of people just think, I hope the door knocks and I get an opportunity. But I think you have just got to really go out there and keep pushing yourself. And like you say, to anyone that is trying to get into the industry, don't give up, because even in these times, there are opportunities, aren't there?
Absolutely. And I think as well, one of the things that I always say is, I've never ever been a lucky person. I do know people who are lucky and they kind of tend to fall on their feet, and that's brilliant. And I never envy those people, but I've never been that person. And I've always had to do a little bit extra, or I've had to work a little bit harder just to even, get my foot in the door. And forever I've had to bang on people's doors, even to get into the West End, because when I broke into the West End, to them, I was from a reality TV show. And this was around 10 years ago, when reality TV shows, to get into the West End, they were like, no, we're from the West End. You're not coming in here, So I had to really earn my stripes and kind of start again to be taken seriously as an actress. And to earn my stripes in a whole different industry of theatre as well. But again, just never be afraid to grow as well. Never be afraid to train. I think some people as performers kind of get to a stage in their career and go, I'm the best of the best, and that's that. But I think you can never stop learning. You have to continue to grow, and you're not the best. There's always going to be someone else who's a little bit fresher or does something a bit different to you. So just to keep growing as much as you can.
Yeah, I think that's a real inspiration. So
thank
you for that, Zoe. It's what we need. Now, your next song choice, Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, Monster. Yeah. Why this song?
So I love to be proven wrong, and I love to just be proven wrong, I guess is the correct word. So when I was younger, I remember when Justin Bieber was like, Justin Bieber, baby, baby, and I was like, who is this? This is awful. I remember at the time, all my mates were listening to him, and I'm into jazz and Motown and soul and funk, and I was like, who is this annoying little boy singing this awful pop song, right? And now I'm the biggest Justin Bieber fan, like going, I've been converted. And I think he's just come into his own as an artist, and I just love his new stuff. I love his writing. I love it. And I love the fact that I've been proven wrong, that now I'm at the forefront, be like, Bieber! So I chose him because I love just seeing people transform, and Justin Bieber for me has done just that.
Yeah, I think he really has. Well, let's check out the song. It's super cool. We'll see you after. Now, Zoe, I want to talk to you, of course I do, about Pop Idol. For me, looking back on those days, there's not one Pop Idol that I would ever miss. I was glued to my TV screen. Wow. You were the highest placed female on the show in 2002. There must be so many memories for you, but they really were the good old days, weren't they? Yeah,
it was such an incredible time of my life. I was 16, so to be, at that age, just thrust into this industry, onto this TV show. And I think one of the things to remember is it was, the first of the reality TV talent competitions back then. So no one kind of had an idea of what to expect. ITV didn't. We were the first one for ITV. The management company was signed to Simon Fuller and Simon Cowell. The contestants, we had, nowadays with X Factor, the contestants have seen it over the years, so you kind of got an idea of what to expect, where we were just kind of like, what's going to happen now? And then all of a sudden we were chased down the street by paparazzi daily, and we were getting police escorted all over the place. like I'd have security to go to Topshop. It was like a really crazy time, but no one, you couldn't prep us for that. But I think that was part of the, you know, the pizzazz about it, I guess, and that we didn't know what to expect. Nobody did. So we learned on our feet. And I mean, it's 16, I moved from the Northeast to London. And I was living, you know, my mum came down and I was living in a flat, and I was all in security flat, protected, and it was amazing. And just getting to meet all these incredible people and record music, and, you know, I did 2 national arena tours. It was just an amazing period. And then, you know, off the back of it now, you know, 20 years on this year, 20 years, which is just crazy.
20 years?
It's 20 years
now. I can't believe that, Zoe.
I know. Well, it's 20 years. Oh my goodness me. It's 20 years, February the 9th, which is just insane.
Wow.
I'm 35 now. So yeah. And I was 16 at the time. So my next birthday. Yeah. So it's just been, again, 20 years on, we're still talking about it, and people remember it, which I love, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many kind of X Factor since, and if someone says to me, oh, do you remember so-and-so from X Factor? I'm like, oh, which season was that? Oh, I don't know. What did she sing?
Yeah.
Or, whereas, because there was only 2 seasons of Pop Idol, and it was the first one at the time, you know, everyone remembers it, and people who I meet even now on social media were like, oh my goodness, we used to have Pop Idol parties, or I came and saw you on tour, and it's just so nice, you know, for me, and I'm pretty sure for all the contestants still, just to hear those memories, because it was such a turning point as well within the music industry, within social media. I mean, you've got to remember back then as well, which I think I'll be honest, I'm always blessed with, is a memory. There was no social media back then, so we had no trolling. We had, you know, no one's opinions kind of thrust upon us, apart from, you know, what was given to us by the judges, by the mentors, by the fans from outside who would, you know, wait for hours on end to chat to us or to get a picture. But there was no, as far as I remember, there was no negativity around that whole period of my life,
it was really
which was
positive,
lovely.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
I can remember
really
my friends and I just being really excited to watch it every week. And do you still keep in contact with Will, Gareth, Darius?
I do. So all 3 of us actually from the finals there is we've all gone into West End or done our own thing. And, I often see Gareth. We do concerts, and Darius as well. We pass cloths quite a bit, and I was on tour with Rock of Ages. I was going to say last year, but last year nothing happened. I keep forgetting that we've wiped out a year almost. The year before last, and he was doing an interview in Stoke somewhere, and I was in like the day after. And he left a little message for me with the radio station. So you just kind of have that connection with them, because we went through it together, and it's a bond that no one, you know, can ever really break, because we got thrust upon each other. We lived together. We became family. We support each other. And I don't ever feel like there was a competition.
No, it was a good vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really wanted them to do well, whether I won, whether Gareth won, whether Will won, whoever it was. I just wanted us all to do well, because we'd experienced so much already in that period of time that it was like, whoever gets it, gets it. But I think one of the blessings was, back then in particular, I mean, technically I came 4th, but I got the second place record contract deal. So everyone kind of won. Everyone in the top 4, everyone came out with something. As soon as I left the competition, obviously I was upset. I was crying. I was like, I left the competition. And I'm talking within 2 minutes of ITV. It was at the end of the show. 2 minutes, cameras were off. I was still in my costume. I'll never forget. I still had a microphone on. I was crying. I was covered in tissues. My mum was there. And Nikki Chapman grabbed me and said, can you come to the office? Simon wants to talk to you. And I was like, oh my God, devastated. And they sat me down and they said, okay, so first thing, tomorrow, the Sunday Sun, when I'm going to piece on you, it's going to be this amount of money. And I was like, my mum was like, what? Because back then as well, there was money to be made, where it's different now. And they were like, and you know, not only that, here we are, paper right in front of me. We would like to offer you a record contract with 90 Management and Polydor Universal. And I was like, hang on, I just left the show, but all this is going on. So you I still felt like a winner, which was lovely. And then, you know, being signed to the same label as Gareth and Will as well, 19, I got to do the arena tours as well. And we did so much together. So I just feel, I feel really blessed that you know, looking back now, especially as a mother and with a little girl, that I have them memories, and that I'm able to hopefully one day guide her in whatever way, you know, if she wants to do music, and pull out the old videos and show her, because she hasn't seen anything that Mummy does.
Oh, hasn't she?
No,
I'm sure she'd like to.
You know what? It's a crazy time, because she's only 3, and Rock of Ages, what I was in the year before last, it was very risque musical and lots of nudity and talks of dildos and things, so she couldn't come and see that, and she saw when she was 6 months, she saw me do a panto, but she's got no understanding of my career or what Mummy does. And this year, to her, Mummy's at home. I'm a stay-at-home mum. I do the things like this online, and you know, she's next door with my mother. I'm very, very blessed that my mum works as our full-time nanny for us, so I can carry on my career. But she at the minute, which is where she's I guess finding herself and understanding her personality, she at the moment she just thinks Mummy does all these fun things working from home, and I'm like, listen, you wait till theatres are back, you know, enjoy me being at home, because I'm going to be off again soon, you know.
No, exactly. I think I saw a little clip on your Instagram, and you were on stage warming up for a show, and she was there warming up too, and I was like, absolutely, this girl's she's going places.
I mean, listen, that's up to her. I think I have such a different opinion because I've experienced that kind of the 2000 era of it being about the music and it's seeing the change in what you kind of have to do to stay relevant these days with the social media. I haven't really pushed her or into anything. Naturally, music is always around daily, and I've always got it on. Look, you know, her father, he's obsessed with music as well, so it's constantly around her. But she is a very beautiful little girl, and I get asked a lot, you know, would you not put her into modelling? And I say, no, I really, really wouldn't. I want her to be a child. I want her to go out and play in the mud and pick up some worms and do stuff. There's no pushing at her. Yeah. If she comes to me when she's maybe, you know, 6 or 7 and says, Mummy, I want to start dancing, or I want to start, then I'm like, okay, you're going to learn today, because this is where it starts. And I'll try and give her the correct advice and grilling and the correct teaching as much as possible, but I'm definitely not pushing her into this business at all.
Yeah, she'll know herself, won't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Zoe, I could talk to you all day, but we're going to go on to your next song choice. Heart of Glass, Miley Cyrus. Great tune. Why the song?
Again, similar to Justin Bieber, I was not a Miley Cyrus fan at all. Ooh. And I was like, this was like pre-Wrecking Ball days. And I was like, someone save this poor girl. Like, someone help her. Where's her management? You know, where's her family? And then from, I would say, the last 2 years, I think originally as a singer, I saw a clip of her doing something like quite hippie-ish, very 70s. She was in her bare feet, and it was really cool. And she was outside playing a guitar and stuff. And she was pitch perfect as a singer. And I was like, this girl, like your kind of Michael Jacksons back in the day, them child stars, have done it every single day to the point where they're pitch perfect all the time. So as a singer, I just couldn't fault her, and I was like, she sounds exactly like the record live. So I just started to get into her and listen to her music and follow her on interviews. And then in particular, I would say the last year, I've just become such a fan. And where she's at now as an artist, like I'm kind of trapped in an old person's body. I've got a really old soul, and I feel like she's going down this whole Blondie era 80s rock chickie vibe, which I love. And then someone sent me the link of this Heart of Glass song, which is the cover of Blondie, and I was like, I love it. I love what you've done. You've made it your own. Yeah, it's still got that raspy Blondie-esque vibe. And I'm just I'm a full fan now of Miley and Bieber. Who would have thought?
We're going to check out the video, and Zoe and I will see you after. Now, Zoe, I want to talk about your musical theatre career. I definitely did see you in Rock of Ages. Yeah! Great show. And I've seen you in Thriller live twice. It's my favourite musical. If only we could go and see it right now, because it just gives you such a lift. I mean, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Dancers are insane. What a show. Yeah. It must have been incredible to be part of.
Do you know what? It was my first... Well, it wasn't really my first, because I'd done so much theatre as a kid, but... It was my first kind of theatre show, which I kind of still to this day call home, really, what I would always go back to. Yeah. I joined the show before it was even Thriller Live, before it was even a musical. So I'm the original female. I originated the part, and I've done helped create part of the workshops for the part as well. And Well, originally it was just a Michael Jackson day at Hammersmith Apollo. So this was back in 2007. It was a celebratory day of Michael Jackson's music. They wanted to get a group of singers together just to celebrate. And when I tell you I'm a hardcore MJ fan, like me and my dad used to go to see his concerts.
Oh, yeah, no.
I must have been like 7.
Yeah, me too.
And I used to be sat on top of my dad's shoulders with my MJ scarf. Like we're a huge MJ family. So for me to be a part of, the MJ concert day, I was like, wicked, this is going to be great. And my family came and loved it. And then that day, there was actually some producers in the audience who then, like 2 months later, kind of rang everyone and said, listen, we're thinking about putting something together as like a show format, maybe for like a week. Would you be part of it? And I was like, absolutely. Oh. And I mean, I can probably say this because I have been there since the beginning to now, which the transformation is very, very different. I mean, when I think about back then, bless us, we were awful. You know what? It was because we didn't have our costumes or anything. We were just wearing our own stuff. We were just there for the music. It was like a week kind of little stint. And then when the producers really invested into it and they were like, okay, we're going to do a UK tour. We all got the costumes. We got an MJ impersonator from America. It all became very, very serious and it was awesome. So originally I did the one-off day. Then the producers got a hold of it and I did the UK tour, then the European tour. And then this amazing thing happened. What is crazy as well, in October there was an MJ book released and I'm actually in it. And I was just so touched. I actually couldn't believe it because I've been there since the very beginning of the show, like pretty much to the end. And they just wanted to recognise the work that I've done with the show. And I was so touched. And I've got it in downstairs in my toilet where I keep all my little memorabilia. I was like, holy, I'm in this book. Like, this is amazing. It's a whole chapter on me. It's crazy. And what happened was I left the show in 2009. 2009. I got offered my first West End job. And at the time, Thriller, we just finished the European tour. And there was like a little dangle of the carrot. We're going to go into West End for a couple of days. And I thought, do you know what? I've heard so many times about shows going to the West End and you dangle a carrot and nothing ever happens. And I had this offer on the table of being in the original cast of Priscilla Queen in the Desert at the Palace Theatre, my first ever West End show. I've got to take this opportunity. So I left Thriller. I did Priscilla for a year. And all within that year, it was probably one of the biggest years of my life. I opened in Priscilla and I closed Priscilla on the Saturday. And during that period of Priscilla, the back end of my Priscilla contract, Michael Jackson died. And what had happened was it had gone from almost like a showcase in the West End at the Lyric Theatre. It was like a couple of days and I couldn't do it because I was in Priscilla, so I had another girl. It had gone from a showcase of Thriller Live, his death happening within that week. Fans from all over the world came and it's like a shrine at the theatre. They left the flowers, the news reporters. I'm talking fans from Japan, Australia, everywhere. Yeah. And I got this is God's honest truth. I got a call that week from the producers of Thriller, and they said, "Are you still in Priscilla?" And I said, "Funny enough, I actually finished on Saturday. I've done a year contract and I finish. What's happening?" They said, "Well, since the death, like the fans are just congregating at the Lyric Theatre. We've been offered an extension of the concert that we were doing to be there full time. Can you come back?" And I was like, yeah. I said, "Can you come back on Monday?" So I finished Priscilla Queen of the Desert in the West End on Saturday night, and I opened in the West End in Thriller Live on the Monday with swear to you, in that week I had to do rehearsals for the Thriller in the daytime, then go to do Priscilla at night time. Then I opened the show. I had a couple of years contract in the West End, and then the show just got so massive around the world that they sent me to Brazil to open the show in Brazil. I went to South Africa. I opened it in South Africa, then came back to West End for like the Oliviers and stuff. So I just feel like actually I really grew up with that show over, in and out over the last 10 years. Whenever I'm not in another musical, I'll always get a call back from Thriller being like, "Can you come in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can come in, of course I can." So I have such special memories of my life with that show.
Yeah, no, it is just brilliant. And like I said, I saw you in it and I just think it's so uplifting and we need uplifting at the moment. So we're going to play out Michael Jackson, Can You Feel It? We're going to have a little boogie here in the studio. Zoe's going to sing and boogie and we want you out of your sofas at home. Everyone on the floor now. Here we go. It's MJ. Can you feel it? Woo! Now, Zoe, let's talk a little bit about what you've got lined up for the future. I mean, I know you've got Zoe Birkett Academy, which is your theatre school, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also you've got a property business. Is that right?
I do, yeah.
She's all go.
I'm a fingers and pies kind of woman. Like, I've got things going on. It's I just like to be busy. I've never wanted to kind of be stale or just do one thing. I mean, especially during these times. I mean, it's just as well I've got other things going on, to be honest. But yeah, I've got a few things going on. I mean, I've written, as I mentioned, a children's book, My Favourite Is. So if anyone wants to purchase that, it's for toddlers. myfavoriteis.com is a website. You can purchase that there. And that's just been great. I mean, when I released that 7th of December, the pre-orders sold out in 24 hours, the first batch. I was like, this is insane. So that for me has just been an amazing learning curve. It's, about children's development. I've learned things as a mother through writing the books. And because I've always written, it's poetry style writing, because I've always written anyway as a songwriter, that's always been in me. And then with having a little girl, we do so many rhyming stuff at home. My partner's like, you need to write a children's book. And I'm like, I'll get around to it. And then last year, when we went into lockdown, he was like, you've got no excuse. Like, it's now or never. And I was like, you're right. So yeah, I've delved into children's writing and I love it. And again, the feedback on the book has just been brilliant for me. I've got this whole section at the back where I get to ask the children what their favourite part of the day is and to tell someone who they're reading with. It's just important to get children thinking about being grateful. That's something that's happened with their day, with their family. And then, I mean, hopefully back, I'm going to write another book because that's a series. So I've got to finish the second book on that one. I'm due to go into Panto. So we were meant to have Panto in December at Christmas, but then because of the tea restrictions and obviously the lockdown, that got postponed until April, till Easter. So I'll be doing Panto in Newcastle Theatre Royal, Robin Hood. Fingers crossed, obviously COVID dependent. And I love Panto. I always play the evil part, which is brilliant. I think because my voice is big and raspy, it suits them, the style of songs and the character an evil person is. So, and I love it. I just get to growl and be horrible to little kids, and they meet me at the stage door, and they're always like, and I'm always like, hiya, and they're like, oh, you're nice. I'm like, yes. So I do love it at Panto. And I mean, I've done so many self-tapes online as well. Yeah. So if any of them come off, that would be great. But I think as a performer, how long's a piece of string? We kind of don't know how long we're going to be in this for. But I do property as well. I have the Zoe Birkett Academy, so I teach every Saturday, private singing lessons online at the moment. Usually the academy process is twice a year, and I get people from actors from Game of Thrones. I get Faye Brooks, who was on Coronation Street, who's going to Dance on Ice now. Yeah,
a bit of Corrie.
Yeah, she came and taught, and I just tried to get the best industry professionals to come up to the Northeast. It's always held in the Northeast, because even though I don't live there, that's been the most place that's supported me throughout my whole career, and I just want to give back to kids who love performing there, and it's expensive to get to London. And, growing up in the Northeast, everything happens in London, but, especially with the upbringing, I had parents who worked very, very hard, but we by no means had money, so train tickets and hotel costs and then workshop fees at Pineapple, you're talking about 500 quid just to get to London for, a workshop. So I just said to myself about 5 years ago, if I can bring all of that buzz that you get in London from going to a workshop, but to the Northeast for a fraction of the cost, and bring the teachers up to the kids, for 2 intensive days, then I just feel like I'm giving something back to them, and it sells out. The 2-day workshop sells out straight away, and I love it. It's incredible, and everyone comes away with a certificate, goodie bag, and just gets to meet these stars. I've had pop stars and loads of people up, and all the kids are like, I cannot believe I saw you on Coronation Street last night, and now you're teaching me about drama in my class. So it's just brilliant. But because of COVID, the workshops have stopped, but that is all going online. And then I have a property business where I provide property for people on tour, theatre digs, accommodation. But there's no theatre obviously open at the moment, so the kind of theatre digs has stopped. However, I'm still allowed to do my business in a safe COVID way, so I now host key workers, which has been lovely for the past year. So anyone working in the NHS or delivery drivers, they're still able to come and stay in my property as a key worker.
Well, Zoe, I'm very impressed with your work ethic. I feel like instead of putting my feet up and watching Corrie tonight, I ought to get on with some more. You make me feel guilty now, but I love that. Now, your next song choice, Old Town Road, Little Naz. Why this song? So
my daughter is obsessed with this song. She loves this song. Whenever we're in the car singing, I'm like, oh, what do you want to listen to? She's like, Old Town Road. I'm like, okay. I think last year, just being at home and having moments with her and getting to know her properly as a toddler. Because I think that age from kind of 2 to 3 as well, they really form and change and grow and you know, get more of a personality. So the fact that I'm home has been amazing. Listen, swings and roundabouts for me is COVID. I haven't been at work, but I've been at home and been able to watch my child just grow into this precious little adorable thing. So just having Old Town Road is just going to, I guess, remind me of just the times with her over the last year, and that, you know, she's still happy, she's smiling. Because she's only 3, I haven't actually told her anything about the virus. She just thinks we're playing doctors wearing these masks all the time. It's literally gone over her head. And for as long as I can, I'm trying to keep it that way and trying to keep her not fully involved and knowing what's going on, because she doesn't need to. She's too young right now. So yeah, this song for me just is for my daughter.
Oh, what's your daughter's name?
Aria.
Aria, this one's for you, Aria. Enjoy. Now, Zoe, we're going to play out your last song choice, which is Shane Codd, Get Out of My Head.
Yes.
Why this song?
Because anyone who knows anything about me, I'm a hardcore dance girl. Like, usually, you know, me and my partner would be out just dancing, not necessarily clubbing, but just going somewhere really cool with cocktails that plays funky house music and a nice live saxophone. We were due to go out and, you know, be married in Ibiza and have this whole house party wedding this year, but we've had to postpone our wedding because of COVID. And I just love funky house music. And when this got dropped like 2 months or something ago, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I was like, this is me all over. It makes me feel good. I put it on the gym. I can put it in the car. My daughter loves it. My fella loves it. So yeah, I'm a big house girl.
Yeah. We need this song at the moment.
Yes, we do.
Well,
happy
Zoe,
vibes.
Yeah, we need happy vibes. And thank you so much for
You're
coming
very
on
welcome.
and
Thanks for having
chatting
me.
to us here on At Home with Hayley. I know we could talk all day. We could literally keep
Ages.
this going all night.
I know.
Putting the world to rights is fantastic. But thank you so much, Zoe.
Thank you.
We're wishing you all the best and keep us posted here on everything that you do.
I will
It's
do.
Zoe Birkett, everyone.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Oh, we've now come to the end of the show, but a huge thank you to the wonderful Zoe Birkett. Could have talked to her for hours. Just brilliant. And thank you to you at home for tuning in and supporting the show every single week. It is very much appreciated. Now, I'm going to leave you with that last song choice from Zoe, but I will see you same time, same place next week.